Greetings, Inquisitors. Welcome to the Holocron. If you're like me, you're looking for answers to this Punishing One menace in Fleet Arena and Grand Arena coming up. So, what is the deal with this ship? I think I've got some insights to share today that I would like to get out there in the community. As we go through this video, of course, leave comments. Tell me if you see what I see. I'm very curious to know what you guys think and what your experience has been. I went out and looked, and it said, okay, this Executrix can counter the Punishing One 3 attacker fleets in Fleet Arena. So I said, okay, I'm going to get on that bandwagon. So I get in here, and I try it out, and my TIE fighter doesn't die. It's just chilling with a couple hit points left. And this is incredibly relevant because with this particular fleet, there's 5 things on the field, and my reinforcement slot is not open. There's nowhere for me to reinforce. And therefore, the reinforcement arrow, although it's cooled down, is blank. Can't bring in the defender. There's nowhere to put it. So with that in mind, we proceed, and we lose 2 ships instantly. And then it's just straight defeat within seconds. Now, I saw a video where a content creator said, look, if they don't kill the TIE right away, it's okay. You can still recover it. Okay, let's go. Here we go. Let's try to do better. Let's try to recover it. Once again, TIE fighter doesn't die. We try some different things to try to recover it. They're just killing ships right and left. Attempt number 3. We go in. Guess what? Here we go. And it doesn't die. It's always living with this little sliver of life. What is going on here? You can see I just sat there for moments in frustration. Look. I'm just like spending a minute going, this is ridiculous. Okay, my next 4 matches. Again, no good. Again, just leave. You can't win it. Get out of here. And defeat is the middle name. It doesn't work. Okay, finally, number 8. Here we go. Hey, look at this. TIE fighter finally dies. All right, now that we've got the TIE fighter dead, there's a reinforcement slot. We could bring in this TIE defender. We can stun up this Punishing One. And from here, it's still quite a slog. I debate here whether to kill the Punishing One or the Xanadu Blood, but my experience tells me the Xanadu Blood is by far the biggest threat on this team. So I take out Xanadu Blood, and now I'm just stuck behind Hound's Tooth for a while. Finally get that cleared, and then, we can work our way through this. And now we're stuck behind Hound's Tooth again. It gets a taunt back up. And he reinforces again, and we're still working our way through it. We get off the alt on the Executrix, and chipping away. But we're going to get to the victory screen here. So as long as they actually, in fact, kill our TIE fighter, then we're good. We're happy. We're successful in killing the enemy fleet. Now, let's examine this survival of the TIE fighter in very minute detail. Okay, watch. There's going to be 5 incoming hits. Let's count them. The capital ship itself with the area of effect. 3 ships that are each going to take a basic attack. And then a 65% chance that the Xanadu Blood's going to take a second basic attack. Okay, so here we go. Super slow motion. Dodge. Deflection. Dodged. Okay, so everything so far has been avoided. Now we've got the incoming attacks from the other ships, and the damage comes through, and you'll see we're not dead. The ship did not die, okay, until Xanadu Blood triggers the second attack. All right, there you go. And then the TIE fighter dies. So if we look at statistically, the TIE fighter has like a 29%, 28 point something percent dodge chance, I think, at normal Relic 5. If you take that 28% dodge chance against 5 attacks, there is a 18% likelihood that all of those attacks are going to land. There's only like a 22% likelihood that all the attacks out of 4 are going to land. And then you've got a 65% chance that you're going to trigger that second attack from Xanadu Blood. So by my calculations, there's about a 31% chance that you're, well, it's even lower than that. Because you start out with a 65% chance that you're not going to get the second attack, and let's say a 23% chance against the other 4 attacks landing. There's a very low likelihood, it's 31% or less, that enough attacks are going to land that you're going to get that TIE fighter killed. Now, with a higher star punishing one, it'll do more damage on the attack that it lands, and that attack, if it lands, will be enough to kill your TIE fighter. So oddly enough, this counter is better against higher stars because it's a more sure kill on your TIE fighter. Against 3 and 4 star punishing one, I found that the enemy capital ship just didn't have enough punch to get through my TIE fighter. And if that TIE fighter lives, I did not find a way to make it successful. So I was searching for answers, and it didn't look like the Executrix was the answer that I wanted. And maybe there's, I mean, my TIE fighter's not special. My TIE pilot is Relic 5, and I don't even think has all 6 dot mods on him, but it's nothing special. So there's not a reason for him to be surviving. Other than, I mean, the ship has a high dodge chance, and there's still a 35% chance that the Xanadu Blood's not going to attack a second time. So in looking for answers, I did find this fleet, and it's a punishing one starting lineup, but it had Bosk. And I happened to be recording while I was doing this battle, and with Bosk in there, I was able to get the first turn, and when they did the mass assist here, the Xanadu Blood lived. And that's very important because it means that the next sequence of attacks are also going to target the Xanadu Blood. And here we get a dodge, a lucky dodge, and we live again. And with that Xanadu Blood living for that, it means it's the target for yet another attack. So even though we lose the Xanadu Blood, it soaked up a bunch of that initial damage. And from here, it just felt easy. Like this was never even a threat. And yeah, I won with all 5 of my ships still on the field. So that got me thinking, if the key to this mirror match might actually just be as simple as Xanadu Blood surviving. If Xanadu Blood lives, then we got something. So here's my line of logic. I'm not having luck with this Executrix thing. It's failing for me over and over again. It just costed me a whole bunch of crystal refreshes and frustration, and I'm not getting what I want. So I'm trying a different counter, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe I can control this mirror match if I just put more relic levels on my Xanadu Blood. I was also working on a counter against the Leviathan, and it felt close. It felt to me over the last few days like I was coming really close to succeeding at this counter, but I just didn't quite have enough damage. So I'm thinking, okay, for 2 reasons. First of all, if the mirror match relies on Xanadu Blood, if I make Cad Bane a higher relic, maybe he'll survive against the normal 3 attacker lineups. If I make Xanadu Blood have more relic levels, it might be just enough damage to take me over the edge in the Leviathan matchup. So I said, okay, this is crazy. I don't care. I'm going to do it. We take Cad Bane to Relic 6, and then we check on the stats of the ship. and now the Xanadu Blood, and I don't have the best mods on them yet. I didn't see that I didn't have good mods on Cad Bane until after I did this. But you can see here that we're at 89,000 health and 49,000 protection and 180 on the speed. Okay, checking the box. We understand where that's at. All right, let's see how much progress we can get out of that going from 6 to 7. So here goes Cad Bane to Relic 7. All right. Good. Now, get in here. 90,000 health, 91 almost, 50,000 on protection, 181 on speed. So it's incremental, we're getting there, but it also gives us a little bit more armor, ship armor, right? So it's giving us a lot of stuff. And then I just say, you know what? In for a penny, in for a pound, I'm taking this dude up to Relic 8. So we take him up to Relic 8, and there's a big jump. 93,000 health, 52,000 protection now, and it looks like we've got a pretty strong ship. So, okay, let's see. Now, I go in and I work on Cad Bane, and I say, okay, we need the right mods on Cad Bane. So I just put a set on him in order to get all 6 dot mods. Now we can go back and check again, and we're up to 96,000 health, 54,000 protection, and 186 speed. Okay. So that's going to mean a few things that are interesting. So I go in here against another Executor, again in the mirror match, and I got to go first. I blew up his Xanadu Blood, and I finished this thing out, no problem. Okay. Now I tried to collect more data on that, but I swear to you guys, I played like 4 more battles after that. Every single battle, I always went first. I couldn't get battles where I was going second. I was desperate to try this strategy against Leviathan. So, you know what? I said, all right, I'm just going to leave it there. I'll try to collect some more footage later. But after my Leviathan stuff, I wanted to get this video out, so I'm putting it out there. I don't know if Relic 8 is going to make my Xanadu Blood survive, but I'll keep testing that. And if it does make the Xanadu Blood able to survive the normal 3-attacker lineup, then we're really on to something here. So I go in against Leviathan, and we're going to try to pick off this TIE Dagger. Now again, the Leviathan lineup with the Sith Fighter in it gets beaten by the Punishing One, to the extent that CG came right out and said, look, we don't want that. It's not how we expect this to work. So we're making an adjustment to in order to reliably beat the Punishing One, put TIE Dagger in your defensive lineup, and then you're good, okay? But then TIE Dagger makes the mirror matches worse, so we're going to fix up TIE Dagger for the mirror matches. So everybody's got TIE Daggers now in their Leviathan fleets. So this, of course, is the Dorito lineup. And we're going to get in here, and we're going to pretty quickly be able to snipe out this Dorito. All right. And now Sith Fighter comes in, and now we're struggling away. We can't get back to the Sith Fighter. We can't get him marked. And then finally, when we get him marked, it's just too far gone, right? Like we get him down. We get him down to 2 ships. We've got 4 and they've got 2. And then they steal our enemy capital ship, and it just goes badly from here. And we end up having to bail because when they bring in the numbers ship, it's got 50 stacks, and they just insta-kill my Hound's Tooth. And then coming in here with another attempt, and similarly, we're just forced to retreat. And I do that over and over and over again, guys, trying to beat this TIE Dorito. And I can't do it. And as many different things as I try killing the Marauder first. That doesn't work out for me. So here I'm going through it, and I'm reading these abilities very, very carefully on the Punishing One. Because I'm trying to think, like, there's got to be something I'm missing here. So I've seen in some battles, it's weird, like the enemy ship seems to come up with the death mark super fast. So I'm thinking to myself, like, how is it that sometimes this death mark ability cools down? And I've never had it happen where I start the battle, and like 3 turns later, I get the death mark. But I've seen it. I've seen it happen. So I'm trying to understand, like, if I could just get the death mark on this tank very quickly. So I say, okay, whenever I call an assist here, I'm going to call an assist with the punishing one, right? You make the punishing one use its basic attack and try to get extra instances of damage and get that ability cooldown. Look at that, nothing. 9, the cooldown of 9 still on that ability. But you see there, I killed the tank. I was just messing around with it, but I wasn't retargeting stuff and trying to get fancy, and I just killed the tank. And you can see my Xanadu blood was hanging on by a piece of floss, right? Bang, the tank is dead. That's the second kill on the tank, so the tank is done for good. Here the Xanadu blood, look. Look, that Relic 8 Xanadu blood. If that thing wasn't Relic 8, it's dead right there. I'm telling you. That sliver right there, that's Relic 8 Xanadu blood in action. So then I'm like, oh, well, what do I do now? He's already reinforced with the Sith Fighter. Like, my plan was to kill the Dagger, but now that he's already got a reinforce in, I'm like, well, I think we got to kill the Sith Fighter, right? Like, isn't that the threat? Question mark? So we kill the Sith Fighter, and then we go over in here on the Marauder, and it's working. It's working, guys. But we never get our next reinforcement, right? We only ever get 1 in reinforcement with this fleet. But I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the enemy capital ship do the ability, and it's bringing in another reinforcement. Now that reinforcement comes in with 50 stacks and instantly annihilates my punishing one. But okay, we've got 2 ships on the field. I think I get a 3rd ship, guys. Here we go. Bring in IG-2000. Take out the number ship here. Done. Nothing left but a Dagger. It worked. Victory. Are we on to something here? We got to prove it out, right? So we're going to come right back in, and we're going to do the same thing. I'm paying 400 crystals for refreshes at this point, guys. I'm desperate to find something that's going to work. All right. So here we go. Stay on the tank. And just call the punishing one for assists here. On the first one, call Xanadu Blood for assists here. And then just keep calling Xanadu Blood. We called the Razor Crest there to get a mark because I don't want to take any chances that we lose track of this tank. And here we go. Tank down. Took a little longer this time, but we got there. Our punishing one is almost dead. We're going to take on the Sith Fighter again. Punishing one goes down. So the battle's looking a little different than it did last time. But we're still got 3 ships on the field. We're going to be able to heal up our IG-2000. We're going to keep that Sith Fighter marked. All right, we insta-lose one of our ships again. So it's looking kind of desperate. But again, we get the next reinforcement. And once we get this reinforcement on the field, now I take out TIE Dagger. I decided the Dagger here was more of a threat. I don't know why. I guess I probably should have just stuck with the Marauder, but here we go. So we got to get this number ship out of here before it goes crazy. And then we just got the Marauder left. And it worked again. 2 in a row. Let's try a 3rd time. Can't be right. Can't be working. We're not supposed to be able to beat this Dagger lineup. All right, here we go. Bing, bang, boom. Again, calling the punishing one on that first. Calling the Xanadu Blood on the second with the Razor Crest. Now we're calling the Razor Crest with this so that we get the... Oh, we called the Xanadu Blood again with that one. Which is better because we get this tank down right away. So now we're going to bring this IG-2000 in as a reinforcement. That seemed to be working for us. Take off the Foresight. So we lose our punishing one again. That's be a trend now. And now we're going to take out the Scythe, or the Marauder now. We're leaving the Dorito. We're just going to leave the Dorito alone. He reinforces again. And here comes that ship with the insta-kill. But he's not doing the ability that prevents this reinforcement. Here comes the reinforcement. Now it's 3 ships on the field versus 2. Our Razor Crest is almost gone. Now our Razor Crest is gone. But we're okay. We're doing it. We did it again. We did it again, guys. The end cut off there for some reason, but I'm telling you, it worked. 3 in a row, 3 times in a row. And as weird as it seems, the answer to it was to attack the tank, to take out that TIE bomber first. So let's recap. A low star punishing one seems to leave the TIE fighter alive too often in the Executrix matchup. So I don't think that that's a reliable way to beat it in GAC, where you've only got one shot. In Fleet Arena, if it doesn't work, you can continue to try to climb, right? If it doesn't work in Grand Arena, you're just done. And the speed with which it took out the rest of the fleet, I never got a kill. In all of those battles where it didn't kill my TIE fighter, I never got a kill. So I'm not willing to do that in Grand Arena. If I try the Executrix version, obviously the Chimera is gone, and then I can't use my normal Leviathan counter. But if we take both the Leviathan, or both the Executor and the Scythe, whether that's with the Chimera or Executrix, we're going to have the Executor fleet and the Executrix fleet both on offense. So if the opponent has the Dorito Leviathan and also a low star punishing one, we can play the Chimera, Scythe into the Leviathan, right? We've already seen that works, and with a low star punishing one, we should be able to do the mirror match. And with a higher relic Cad Bane, I believe that mirror match is going to be pretty reliable. Haven't proven that out yet, but I think that gives me better chances than taking that Executrix fleet in, watching it lose, and then basically having no options against the fleet that's left over, right? So I'll take my chances with that mirror match with my higher relic Cad Bane. And then against the against the Leviathan, I believe that our the Chimera fleet, the Chimera version of that fleet, has pretty good and reliable counter to the Leviathan. So in that way, we'll do the Chimera version of the Scythe fleet against Leviathan and the mirror match against Executor. If I come in and they have a higher star punishing one, then I can take my Executrix version of the Scythe fleet in there with a pretty good reliability that they're going to kill that TIE fighter on that first big barrage. And that's going to free up I got to try with the Executor to counter the Leviathan. And so far, it looks like that's working. Kill the B-1 bomber first. It's very counterintuitive to me. I wanted to kill everything but the bomber, but the way that it worked was if I just hard focused the bomber and took that down. Again, I couldn't keep my Xanadu blood alive, and I couldn't kill the bomber fast enough until I over-relicked my Cad Bane. So the price of admission for this strategy may be a higher relic Cad Bane, if you're willing to do that. By the time you kill the bomber, the first reinforcement of that Sith fighter should be in. We can take out the Sith fighter. If it's on the field, we've got to take that out next. By the time we get that taken out, sometimes the interceptor is already on the field, the numbers ship. If it's on the field, we take it out. If it hasn't reinforced yet, we work on Marauder, and we just leave the Dorito there. And the key to this sequence seems to be that the Leviathan doesn't use the ability that prevents your second reinforcement. And as long as we can pull in that second reinforcement without that ship instantly exploding, then we're winning. And maybe that also takes a relic 9 Piet. Okay, so I don't know. Maybe a relic 8 Piet's too slow and that sequence doesn't work. Maybe the Leviathan gets off its next ability. I'm not 100% certain. But I have a relic 9 Piet and a Relic 8 Cad Bane now. And that's working. It's working. Now, they said that they're going to change the Dorito, the TIE Dagger. But what it says specifically in the post they made, however, to counter the Punishing One in Leviathan fleet by starting TIE Dagger is it's got a good defensive win rate in line with our expectations. But since the TIE Dagger in the lineup is detrimental to the mirror match that Leviathans will frequently find themselves in, our plan is to make some buffs to the TIE Dagger to make it a desired unit to bring the Leviathan mirror match while still being the best counter for Executor. And this way the Leviathan owners can still have win rates they expect against the Leviathans and be the favorite. Now, I don't think there's any way, if you're taking this on offense, that the AI fleet is going to target your bomber and zero your bomber like I'm doing. I think it's going to target the Dorito, right? So if you're on offense with the Leviathan, with the Dagger, I think you still beat an Executor defense, right? But if your Leviathan is on defense and you're the Executor, I think, or at least 3 times in a row, and again, guys, I was up against 400 cost refreshes here, and I'm running out of crystals fast. So I'll do more testing in the coming days, but this is where I've got it so far. So please help the community. If you see this video and it makes sense and you can try this stuff out, please try it out and leave comments. You know, I can't retcon my Relic 8 Cad Bane, so I don't know if you have a Relic 5 Cad Bane and you try, because I didn't stumble across this idea of focusing down the Marauder or the Extinction Bomber until after I'd already Relic 8'd my Cad Bane. So if people with a Relic 5 Cad Bane try this out, it may be that you don't have enough damage or that your Xanadu Blood gets killed. I think that's the case. I think that in several of these matchups, my Xanadu Blood was on a sliver of life. So I think if I hadn't Relic 8'd the Cad Bane, I wouldn't have made this successful. Anyway, try these things out. Leave comments down below. If people find this counter to be reliable, let me know. If people find this counter to be unreliable, let me know that too. And we can keep learning together as a community. And if this does work, it probably won't stay a counter to Leviathan for very long, because they've clearly said that they don't want the Executor to be able to beat the Leviathan. But I think as long as the Leviathan still, as an offensive ship, if it still as an offensive ship beats the Punishing One, then I think they'll leave it alone. So hopefully that'll be the case, and we'll be able to counter defensive Leviathans in Grand Arena or in Fleet Arena. All right, leave comments down below. Let me know if this works for you guys too. Thank you all for watching. Appreciate it, each and every one of you. Please leave a like on the way out if you didn't leave one on the way in. Subscribe to the channel to see more of my stuff in the future. And of course, notification bell tells you when I'm doing my GAC streams. So join us for those. A lot of fun. Hope to see you over there. Thank you all for watching. See you in the next Holocron.